it's always in your best interest to, whatever your financial institution is, whether it's a credit union, whether it's a bank, online.
I know I say this every time. I just want to like rave out to that music. So, hi everybody, and welcome into this episode of Chamber Chat Live. My name is Bill Vitiello. I'm the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing for the Victory Bank. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We kind of have a little bit of a sputtering start to season 7. We got off good, and then Facebook decided to go down. And then we had a reschedule. So thank you, Drew, for filling in with the previous episode. But here we are today. And Eileen looks like she's on location, and I don't have access to my computer at the moment. I desperately was trying to figure out where she's at. So hi, Eileen. How are you?
I'm good.
So where are you answering in like 1 and 2 word increments because you're in amongst the group? So where are you and what event is that?
Terry, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second because I want you all to be live on Chamber Chat. So say
Hi,
hello,
everybody.
This is our networking luncheon at New Hanover United Methodist Church, and we had lunch from Chamber member Moyer's Catering. So just want to make sure we get everybody in the shot here. So we had about 20 people out for lunch today doing some in-person networking. So a huge thank you out to all of them. And that is my From the President's Desk off site today.
Nice.
So just want to give a shout out to those, again, 2 chamber members who helped us bring this event together. And a thank you to everybody who attended. So sorry.
Well, hello
I interrupted the networking, so I have to let the group get back to their conversation.
No, all good. I just wanted to say thank you to the membership for allowing us to crash your party today. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Thanks for bringing us live, Eileen.
Happy to.
So it's really more the president's table than it is the president's desk today. So
pretty much.
All good though. All good. All right. Do you have anything you want to share, or you're going?
I am.
I'll see you later.
Get back to the group.
Yes.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you. Well, that was nice of Eileen to join us. It's so cool we can go on site. And, I think if Chamber Chat was the perfect podcast, that we would probably be on location a little bit more. Coordinating schedules and everything is quite difficult, but we may work towards that towards the future. We'll see how it goes. So, all right, Drew, let's get on to our guest here today. This is exciting. I'm excited to talk to this individual. He has been on our podcast before. I believe, I don't know if he's been on via video, but there he is. It's funny, that hat looks familiar. So first of all, this is Matt Green. Matt is a realtor with Glocker Realty and Insurance. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me, Bill. And I was on the show. I looked it up last night. It was February 4th of 2020, and we were on video. It was videoed and podcasted.
All right. I like it. So that was in the office, right?
Yes, we were up at the chamber office. Yes. Yep. With Dan Price was your co-host at the time.
Yes, he was co-hosting. I remember. Wow. And here we are, season 7.
Yep.
Season 7. So I was saying, I recognized the hat. It was funny. I'm sitting there looking at today's episode, and I see Matt's got this hat on with a neck gaiter, and I'm like, where's his realtor picture? I'm like, is this the one that he wants to use? And right after, I'll be honest with you, Matt. Right after I sent it, you replied exactly. I think what I was thinking after I sent it was that this is how you are. Like, you're a man of the people. You're out there grinding it. So you'll see you in a hat most times.
But 99% of the times, the picture that I have for my business card and the one that they flash up on the electronic bulletin board at Glocker, I have this serious look on my face. I'm in a coat and a tie. I've been accused of scaring small children and women, but normally day to day, this is how I look. Now, I did put on a new hat for the show today. You'll be proud of me for that. The other one, the brim's starting to wear out, but this is new and fresh.
That's your dress hat,
Yeah, but I mean,
your formal hat.
my formal hat, 90% of the time I'm out, I'm in the field, I'm on the street. I spend a lot of time at construction sites because of the work that I do in residential rehabilitation. And if I wore nice clothes, they would just get ruined. So this
Yeah.
is me. This is who I am.
Hmm. You're
I'm
unapologetically you.
I am. Anything else would just be fake, and I would feel fake. So
Yeah.
this is the real deal. This is me.
All right, good. Well, it's great to have you on today. There's some folks, believe it or not, there are probably folks watching who don't know who you are. So
Right.
if you want to just take a few moments and introduce yourself to those folks and what you do, please.
So, as you said, I'm a realtor at Glocker Realty. My office is up in Boyertown at the corner of 73 and 100, but I spend a lot of time working in the Pottstown market. And when I say Pottstown, I mean the borough of Pottstown. That's where my business starts. It's where my network started when I got into this almost 7 years ago. And I have devoted a substantial amount of time in becoming a Pottstown expert. And specifically, I work with several companies, primarily Find Solutions Properties, on rehabilitation of properties in the borough of Pottstown. I think I've lost count, but we're somewhere over 30 rehabilitated homes in Pottstown and Stowe. So that's what I do. And then in the surrounding area, I'm your typical real estate agent. I help people buy, I help people sell, I do a little bit of commercial work. Um, just trying to be that local expert in the community.
So let's talk about local. So as I understand it, you're very familiar with the area, and why is that?
Well, I've spent almost my entire life living here. So I'm 47 years old. And of those 47 years, I have lived in the borough of Pottstown for 37 years. I was also a police officer for 8 years. I worked for the borough. I worked for the school district. I've just lived and worked for a very, very long time in Pottstown. So it's kind of hard not to know, or not to be, not for me to personally consider myself an expert when every single day my feet are on home base in Pottstown.
Yep, I love it. And again, if you're going to engage a realtor, you want somebody who's going to know the market, right? You don't want somebody who's just guessing at what the
Yeah.
market is, right? Go ahead, speak a little bit to that.
No, I think that's correct. And I also think that with technology today, I will agree with people. Yes, it is possible to sell a home from anywhere in the world. You can do that. But if you really want somebody who's going to give the time and attention that your particular sale is going to need, you should hire a local real estate expert, somebody that knows your neighborhood, maybe even knows some of the neighbors on your block, because 9 times out of 10, those are the connections that are going to get the house sold. Somebody knows somebody who wants that house. And when you're plugged in like that, you have a higher chance of hitting those marks and finding those truly engaged people who want to be in that community that you're in. So that's the number one thing. And there's the
Sure.
local knowledge too. Obviously, we have regulatory compliance that we have to deal with as far as licensing and inspection and use and occupancy, or even just finding a local contractor to fix that window before you put your house on the market. I know local guys that live in this area that, yes, they'll come out, they'll fix your window at a good and reasonable price. And let's not forget too that we are supporting each other. If you support local business, you're supporting your friends, your neighbors, the coach of your kid's soccer team. These are the people in our communities. Why not support them and support the community? Local dollars stay local.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you about, can you give me a sense of what the current market is doing right now? Like, there's so many people have a number of opinions about where it's at, where it's going. But since you're a local guy, you got your finger on the pulse. Give us the straight skinny on that, if you don't mind.
So right now, we're seeing that it's a seller's market, right? Everybody knows this. If you have something to sell, it's going to sell fast, and we're getting overpriced offers on just about every type of real estate there is imaginable, from the stuff that needs full gut rehabilitation up to that $1 million listing that everything is super sharp, right? And what's driving that? That's the question I keep getting asked over and over again. It's lack of inventory. There's not enough listings coming on the market to meet the demand. And that's what's causing prices to rise. It is just sheer economics 101. When demand is high and inventory is low, prices will rise. And let's not forget, on the buyer side of things, money's cheap, right? We still have interest rates hanging at about 3.25%. So you can borrow money on a 30-year loan for relatively cheap rates. And people talk about the rates going up. Well, look, even if the rate went up a whole point to 4.25%, we'd still have a historically low rate. I remember being excited 10 years ago to refinance my house to get 6%, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's in a nutshell, as easy to digest as I can possibly make it. Lack of inventory combined with low interest rates is driving a super accelerated seller's market.
So what would you say to somebody, I don't know, maybe they're the host of Chamber Chat on the TriCounty Area Chamber of Commerce. They're thinking about, it works for a bank. They're thinking about selling their house, but is a little scared at the prospect that as soon as they become a seller, they become a buyer.
That's correct. So that's the conversation that I'm having with the sellers that I am approached by who have to make a move. You really want to get your ducks in a row first on that move, because I'm going to sell your house quicker than you can blink your eye. Your house is going to be sold. So what I'm encouraging people to do is, number one, whether you're selling a house or not, get your financing together. Find out exactly what it is that you can afford and go into the neighborhoods where you want to shop and start looking so that you can find what you want to look. Also, be creative in your offers. When you're making these offers on these other houses, be creative. Do things like limiting your inspections by saying, I only want to inspect certain items of the house, right? You're still getting a chance to do an inspection, but you're making the seller rest at ease that you're not going to come back and beat them up over every little thing. You could offer to pay parts of the seller side commission. You could offer to pay parts of the seller side real estate transfer tax. Try to be creative in your offer writings to make your offer stand out from the crowd, because guaranteed there's going to be a crowd. There's going to be a crowd at these houses and at these listings.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's crazy. You're doing an open house, and maybe even sometimes before the open house, getting multiple offers all over ask. And it's very tempting for somebody who wants to sell, but again, I can't say that I'm overly serious about it, but the thought did cross my mind.
Sure.
to sell the house, but again, we become buyers, which mean then we're competing against others for inventory, for one, and then two, are we willing to plan enough or to sacrifice to go and rent somewhere?
Right.
So those are all decisions that need to be considered.
Absolutely. I would say that the person who is best suited to sell right now, or best positioned to sell, I would say, are those people that are looking to downsize. Maybe you're looking to downsize to a retirement community, or you're going to move in with some friends.
Me,
or
a retirement
family.
Community? Are you
Hey,
calling
Bill.
me old?
No, I'm just saying you've been working hard.
That's
But
it, good man.
I'm just saying in general, generally speaking, those that are best positioned to sell are people that already know where their next step's going to be. So the downsizers, for instance, a lot of times they already have a retirement community picked out for themselves, or a residential care facility. They have that picked out. They know that there's going to be an opening, and they can sell their house relatively quickly and then move on to that next step. Or another thing that I've seen is people that decide that they're going to move into their vacation home down at the beach or up in the mountains. And now they have the possibility to work remotely, either some or all of the time. And they're selling their house, and they're going to live at their vacation home. If you don't have to make that next purchase, there's never, ever been a better time to sell.
Yeah. All good words. Yeah. Just a reinforcement of what I have been hearing out there. Let's talk about, you and I have had a number of conversations about this, right? Let's talk about the hustle. Let's talk about how hard you work for what you have, how hard you work for your clients, how hard you work for the community, and some of the things that you've been doing out there. So let's start with the community first. Tell us some of the things you're involved with the community and how you like to give back.
Well, obviously, this rehabilitation work really does mean a lot to me. We're bringing back as many of these houses that we can get our hands on, and we're doing it in a way that people can feel confident that they're getting a very well built home. And we're trying to save as much of that historical character that it belongs in Pottstown, but exists in Pottstown as well. So, we're saving historic woodwork, we're saving historic features, and I'm proud of that. It's my town, and we're helping bring it back one house at a time. And I really have to give a shout out to my clients, Paul and Rob Bickelman at Fine Solutions Properties. They have really been, over the past 5 or 6 years, at the vanguard of this rehabilitation efforts that have been going on. So there's that. Over the course of the years, I was on the steering committee for the Pottstown Land Bank, which again is going to help with urban blight in the borough of Pottstown. I helped write the ordinances that became the land bank, so I've been involved in that. I helped bring Habitat for Humanity into the town, and they started the Rock the Block program, which again is a community revitalization effort within the core district of Pottstown to get people some of the training and support that they need in order to make their communities a better place to live. And then finally, I'm on the board of directors at the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities. And I joined there because they do have a piece geared towards homelessness with the Your Way Home program. And it was easy for me to wrap my head around how a real estate agent could be helpful in providing them with some guidance over at the cluster. So I've been involved with that. And then, of course, as you know, Bill, because you are in some way, shape, or form the godfather, I started.
Do I have to start talking like this now?
Yes, it should be easy for you to do, Paisan.
Yeah.
Anyway, in March of 2020, Amy Wolf and I started Porchcast Pottstown, and we started that right at the outbreak of the pandemic and the stay-at-home orders, and that just caught on like wildfire. And what we initially attended as a show to kind of highlight the positives of Pottstown quickly shifted into a news broadcast, and we were doing that every day. We worked in combination with Victory Bank. We worked in combination with the TriCounty Chamber of Commerce, the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities, the Pottstown School District, the TriCounty Community Network. I mean, the list of organizations that engaged with us on Porchcast Pottstown is as long as your arm. And they were giving us information because we had a nice audience that was engaged and wanted the information, firsthand information from resources from within the community. So Amy and I are surprised every single day by the positive feedback that we get on Porchcast Pottstown. We're still doing it. We don't do the everyday show anymore because we're back to work.
Right.
But we are on Thursday nights at 6:00 on YouTube, Porchcast Pottstown, and then my Facebook page, which is Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate, and still having community leaders on. Some of our neighbors have been on the show, just people that we call Porchtonians, and the Porchtonians are contributors to society. So we get a lot of good information. We break some news. We were able to get the breaking story on the development of the Iron Globe, which is going to be an entertainment complex, which is being brought to us by Shell Hallman and Andrew Monastro, along with another partner. So that's what I'm into, man. That's the hustle,
You're doing it.
I do it because I care about where I live, but not only that, and I would be lying if I didn't say this. I would be lying by omission. It is part of the way that I network and promote my business, 100%. In my opinion, the two things are interchangeable. And I have to say that the Chamber of Commerce has been super, super helpful in me helping to make connections at networking. And like I said, when we were doing the daily show for Porchcast Pottstown, 100% the Chamber of Commerce was one of the organizations that was feeding us information that we could share with the community.
And that's great. And thank you for mentioning the chamber, because, sometimes we just sit there and we go through these episodes and we sometimes, might not mention how the chamber has changed some individuals or changed some businesses. So I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity, to take a listen to the Pottstown Porchcast.
Porchcast Pottstown.
Porchcast Pottstown. Sorry, reversed it. The Porchcast Pottstown. I've been on there before.
You have,
yes. Yeah, Matt and Amy have been kind enough to have me on. We spoke about the PPP loans from the SBA when we were right in the middle of the pandemic there, and relief. So there's always some good information there from your guests, and you get to hear about some interesting people that you wouldn't necessarily come across. Maybe they're not necessarily members of the chamber. But you have an opportunity to learn a little bit more, maybe about a local organization or a local business, or even that individual, maybe how they got the business started. It's all extremely interesting. I also want to talk about your YouTube. You were doing some videos about some of the rehabs that you were doing.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? I feel like before you do that, I feel like we're in a very visual society right now, right? Everything's on our cell phone. We're constantly scrolling. We're watching videos. We're watching reels on Instagram. So to have something visual and to be able to produce something visual, I think was pretty special in that regard. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So when we first started doing the residential rehabs with Find Solutions Properties, and then the second business that I started working with was Iron Space Designs. This was before what we have seen over the past 2 or 3 years in Pottstown. So these folks were doing really good work, but out on social media land, there was not a very positive presence about Pottstown. There was a lot of very negative things being said on social media. So I knew that I had to overcome these objections, and I wanted to show people how great these houses were that were being rehabbed by my clients. We were putting in granite countertops and soft close cabinets and all this great stuff into houses that were super affordable. So with the help of an intern that I had at the time named Colin Monteith, we developed a series on YouTube called In the Works. And through the In the Works series, we covered the rehab of some of these properties that my clients were doing. We tried to do 3 or 4 episodes per rehab, depending on how much work needed to be done or how much we had to say. We would do maybe 4 episodes. And we were doing that in order to change the narrative about Pottstown on social media. We were trying to create that positive content and give people, like you're saying, people are very visually oriented. They want to see what's going on. With those YouTube videos, we could actually show people the work and then the finished product of on these houses. And people loved it. If nothing else, even if you weren't going to buy one of these houses or you weren't in the housing market, people are curious. They're nosy, right? And we were satisfying a lot of our neighbors' curiosity about what was going on in their neighborhoods. You can find those past episodes at Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate on YouTube. I have not shot a In the Works video in a couple of years. I really need a new videographer. Colin moved on to greener pastures. And if anybody out there is watching and wants to develop a little bit of street cred for themselves, I will offer you 100 times what I make on those videos, which is 0. But I can promise you, this is, I'm joking, but I'm also kind of serious. I can promise you that thousands of people will see your work, because literally thousands and thousands of people watch those videos. They've been viewed for thousands of hours.
Yeah. And I apologize if the videos are a little bit dated. I kind of knew that.
Yes, they are.
It was really important, I think, again, to help support your hustle and you're thinking outside the box. Because if you're doing that for yourself, you're doing that for your clients too. And especially in this market, it's a situation where, you need to be all in for somebody. You can't just be half or even a quarter in, for your clients. So I wanted to mention it because I know what kind of effort it takes and what it took to produce those.
Yeah, it was a lot of effort, but like I said, it not only helped me promote the town and sell the town, but it did help me sell those houses, right? And people could see the work that was going on, and eventually my name and the name of those companies got associated with high quality housing. So that's good. But I would say this more than anything else, and I appreciate all the compliments, Bill. I really do. At the end of the day, it's about consistency. Whether the market is up or whether the market is down, whether it's a seller's market, I'm doing the same things on my listing, regardless of what the market is, because it's important to me to produce a high quality product. So I'm taking HD photos, we're doing HD videos, we're doing Matterport walkthroughs, we're doing all of this stuff on our listings because it's important to show our clients' houses in the best light. And I'm doing that regardless of whether people want to be in Pottstown or they don't, or anywhere else that I sell a house. Because at the end of the day, I also sell houses in Berks County and Chester County and other parts of Montgomery County. But we consistently, and by we, I mean myself and the other agents and brokers at Glocker, we consistently put together very high quality listing packages for our clients, regardless of the market.
Well, I don't think there's any other way better to end the episode with that messaging.
Thanks.
So, yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate you being a guest today. Thank you very much. It was good to catch up. I wish we could do it more. I know you're busy. I'm busy, but let's make it a point to get something on the calendar. We'll grab a cup of Joe together.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to sit down and talk with you just personally, and I'll reach back out to you and have you on Porchcast Pottstown again. I'd love to have you back as a client.
Right. Look at me.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Matt Green from Glocker Realty. Thank you again for being a guest today.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this episode of Chamber Chat Live with the TriCounty Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Bill Vitiello. I'm the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing for the Victory Bank. And until we connect again, all my best. Bye for now.